Hi everybody, a very good evening, a very good morning wherever you might be joining us from, and a very warm welcome to the LASIB webinar on project management in Six Sigma. There is a very interesting story behind why this topic today, and I'll just tell you in a bit upon that. So before we get started, this is the next in the series of webinars that LASIB has been conducting, and just to bring about awareness about certain concepts of Six Sigma and how specifically they deliver on organizational excellence. In the last webinar, which was conducted by Mr. Himanshu Pundir, manager at UTC, we talked about challenges and best practices in vendor management. And if you didn't get a chance to attend that webinar, you can go and download the presentation on the LASIB website. So in today's webinar, we'll be talking about, how are project management and Six Sigma related. This topic somehow, when I was asked to requested to take a webinar, I chose this topic because this topic is very close to my heart. I come basically from a project management background, project management, program management, portfolio management. So those concepts of project management have been, like in my blood since forever. But then when I joined LASIB and was asked to kind of promote the concepts of Six Sigma, it took me some time to kind of understand the importance and significance and why Six Sigma. I would always talk about project management and let's do more activities on project management. But it was slowly but surely that the concepts of Six Sigma became a part of my blood as well, and now I kind of feel that project management without Six Sigma is kind of incomplete, or you are essentially not a good project manager if you've not really been thinking of project management along the lines of Six Sigma. So that's how this topic kind of came into my mind, and I thought I'll share what I have learned in this whole journey with the rest of you out there. So with further ado, I'll start the webinar. And some ground rules before we get into the presentation itself. The total webinar duration is 45 minutes, 30 minutes for the presentation and 15 minutes for Q&A. If you have any questions that you wish to ask during the course of the webinar, please feel free to type in those questions in the chat window that is available as part of the GoToMeeting. The questions will directly come to the organizer, and they will be handled in the Q&A towards the end of the presentation. The webinar is also being recorded, and it will be available on LASIB.org under the webinar section. Again, the presentation is also available for download if you are interested. And if you have any questions, feedback, comments, you are free to mail it to the coordinator at contact@LASIB.org. I am Shilpa Kota, and I'm the secretary with LASIB. And as I said, come from a very strong project management background, and I've been handling multiple roles even at LASIB, responsible for consulting, training, workshops, and research, thought leadership, and all that at LASIB. Quick background about LASIB. LASIB is a not-for-profit society specifically focused on promoting concepts of Lean and Six Sigma, and how they are adding value, to both businesses and customers across the globe. It's a relatively new organization, and it was, founded in 2010, officially registered in 2011, and we are out here to kind of, bring about the concepts within the reach of everybody. The webinars is just a small step towards that direction. We've done about 15 odd webinars so far, and continue to do webinars each Thursday evening IST time. We also have a lot of information available on LASIB.org. We have the complete training materials of Lean and Six Sigma, right from white belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, all available free of cost for download to all members. And we also have e-learning material on white belt, yellow belt, a part of green belt also available. Along with the training material, you will also find case studies, checklists, best practices, templates, or everything available for download for members. And again, the membership is absolutely free for individuals. So please feel free to go ahead, find out more about LASIB, and leverage the resources that are available for you out there. Within a short span of time, about 1.5 years since it's been registered, LASIB is proud to have touched about 10,000 professionals from across 40 countries, and this is just a quick snapshot of where all we've been there, and and we continuously keep expanding. So it is very, very heartening to see the feedback and the suggestions and the participation that we've seen from all across the globe. So with that, we will get started with the presentation for today. And the first, before we talk about the relationship between project management and Six Sigma, I thought I'll kind of define what is project management. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are already familiar with it, but just to give the context to the whole presentation, I thought it best to kind of define the project. Right. So a project is something which is a temporary endeavor, as in it has a definite beginning and a definite end. And the project is supposed to deliver a unique product or service, or a unique result, an outcome essentially. So if the project does not have a definite outcome, then I would say it is not a project. It is probably just a task, or it is probably an operational activity that you're conducting day in, day out. So let's say the administrator of our office who comes in daily and make sure that the office is clean and puts in the flowers and make sure the windows are open and all that stuff. He's not working on any project. He's just doing something which is operational and which needs to be done day in, day out. But if something, one of my team members is working on a research on the supply chain management and how Lean Six Sigma concepts have been useful in, freight forwarding industry, and he has to deliver a research report to a very, one of the leading freight forwarding organizations. Now that's a project, because that has a definite beginning, has a definite end, and the outcome is very clearly defined. And another feature of a project is that it is progressively elaborated. When we say progressively elaborated, we mean that as you move into the project, the requirements of the project become more and more clear, and the project starts to expand. When you are actually in the initiation phase of the project, the requirements might not be as clear, and you might not have the entire details of how and what and when to do the project, right? But as you go into the requirements phase, the details become more clear, and as you go through execution, it becomes even more clear, and so on and so forth. So it is progressively elaborated, right? And again, when we say a project is temporary in nature, it does not mean that it is short in duration. A project can be anywhere between 1 week a project to 1 year to 10 years project is also something that we worked upon. So that's in a sense the definition of a project. It's a temporary endeavor, unique product, and it is progressively elaborated, right? So what is project management, and so what is essentially the role of a project manager, right? Good question. I'm sure a lot of you are project managers out there, and you would be like, I know what's the answer to that, but the answer is, as per the LASIB Book of Knowledge and the Empirical Management Authority, which is again a LASIB initiative to kind of specifically promote concept of project management. We could define project management as the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements, right? So it is all about application of your knowledge to achieve the project goals, essentially. Right? And if you want to know about a little bit more about EPMA, you can visit theepma.org. That's THEEPMA.org, and feel free to contact Varun Khare again if you need any more details on project management. Again, as part of EPMA, we have a lot of project management training material and case studies and best practices available for download for free for members. So feel free to leverage that. Okay, moving forward then. So as a project manager, those of you who have been there would understand being a project manager is a very, very difficult task. At any given day, you are juggling between risks, between constraints, between requirements, between resources, between complaints, between change requests. So how does the day start and how does it end? Is anybody's guess, right? So as the project manager, the whole and sole accountability of making the project successful is upon your shoulders, and it is no mean task. I mean, it is definitely quite challenging, especially if it is a complex project involving multiple stakeholders, involving complex requirements, first-time technology that you're working on. It's anybody's guess that how your day would start and how it would end, right? So as a snapshot, just couple of practice areas that again, as ETMA believes project managers should be focused on. Listed them down, and I listed them down not to kind of cover them each in detail, but just kind of try to bring a perspective of how many things on a day-to-day basis does the project manager need to manage, right? And I'm sure you would all agree with me on that then. So again, it is very, very difficult for a project manager to really prioritize. Okay, today being the 5th day of the project, just taking an example, should I focus on time and schedule? Should I focus on knowledge management? Should I focus on my risk? Should I focus on governance? Should I focus on cost? I mean, what do I start with? And usually, how priorities are defined for project managers is, okay, so today, what is burning? What is on fire, and let me take that. So if today there's a business disaster and I need to go into disaster recovery, then that's what takes priority. Or if it is a change request that has come, or if it's a customer complaint that has come, that is my priority, right? That's how project managers prioritize their time or manage their time. And that, unfortunately, is a very, very primitive way of project management. But unfortunately, without a very robust framework of prioritization, of alignment with customer goals, that is how most project managers start and end their day. And that is where the principles of Six Sigma help, and help project managers to prioritize and align themselves with the larger perspective of the organization and the customers. And we'll just see how. Okay, so most common project management challenges that we usually face. Day in, day out, I explained some of the scary scenarios in the last couple of slides, like you don't know what to prioritize and you're just driven by the emergencies of the business. But then have project managers actually stop to question, is the project that I'm working on adding any business value? Have they asked the question that, okay, ask the question to the customers, hey customer, is this project meeting your requirements as you had defined? On a daily basis, what are the tasks that I need to prioritize? Do I need to do this, or do I need to start my time management, or is it time for closure already? Is it time for checking my cash flows? I mean, where do I start and end my day, right? Again. So those are, the core challenges that a project manager probably does not even get time to think about. As they go through the day, they're just checking status reports, just reviewing metrics, and somewhere in that, operational activities, they lose the focus of, is this project adding business value? So, and what happens in that case? Once you lose that focus, the likelihood that the business is going to come and scrap the project altogether become very, very high, because you've lost the alignment with the business, right? So let me take an example here to, explain it a little better. So there was again one of the research, topics that we had picked up last year was around, how do we improve productivity of a certain, certain set of associates in the team. And we were working on this project for a long time. But then, somewhere we were just too focused in the operational aspect of things that we lost the business direction of why the organization had wanted to measure the productivity in the first place. And therefore, by when we were almost ready to actually deliver the project and close the outcome report, the project by then was scrapped because the business no longer needed it, and they had already found ways of improving productivity, and they did not really need a whole research or a whole project to actually find out the reasons why the productivity was low. So sometimes if we are not aligned to the business problems, the whole project is not adding value and can therefore be very, very easily scrapped by the business in itself. And the same thing applies for customers as well. If we are not constantly checking and aligning ourselves with the customer requirements of why we are doing a certain project, or are we meeting the customers both implicit and explicit, said, unsaid requirements, then the likelihood that the customer will still be dissatisfied, even if you as a project manager consider yourself successful, the likelihood of that happening is quite high. So again, alignment with both business and customer is very, very key, right? So how does Six Sigma help us in project management then? Six Sigma, as we define it, is not about the statistical deviation, standard deviation definitions, and what is Six Sigma, number of opportunities lost, and number of defects per million opportunities and all that. the way LabSib likes to define Six Sigma is a way of life. You know, it's how we start our day, how we prioritize what we need to do, how we measure ourselves, how do we make sure that we are aligned to what we really truly believe in. And the way Six Sigma is, it's not about just applicable to individuals, but it is, it's not only applicable to organizations or for-profit organizations. It is equally applicable to not-for-profit organizations. It is equally applicable to government, public sector, defense, education, and most importantly to individuals. So the way of life of Six Sigma, if you implement it as an individual day in, day out, you know, the likelihood that you would be successful and you would be happy, you know, at the same time is very, very high. Usually, and how we say that, you know, how that happens essentially is because Six Sigma always talks about, you know, starting the Six Sigma journey with identifying the strategic priorities for you as an individual or for your organization, right? So you identify your vision, your goals, and where are you heading, you know, what would you want to be 5 years, 10 years from now. And from there, once you've had your vision defined, you identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You do your VRIO, the valuable, rare, inimitable, organized, analysis of that. You map it to your strategic priorities, and therefore you know, okay, what initiatives to take to make sure that your strategic priorities are met. So constantly, if you're doing that evaluation, that okay, hey, my strategic opportunities, my strategic priority for this year is to complete my master's, let's say, for example. So am I giving enough time for it? Am I giving enough resources for it? Am I taking up tasks which do not comply or do not align with my strategic priority of completing my master's, right? So if you're constantly evaluating yourself and the activities that you do against your individual priorities, then the chances that you will miss on any of those strategic priorities is very, very low. However, if you've not followed that structure and if you just said, yeah, I know I need to complete my master's, but in the meantime, let me pick up a job. Okay, let me, find a girlfriend. Let me have some fun as well, and let me, try and visit as many places as well. You are obviously not focused, and because you've not been able to align your priority, your tasks essentially to the priorities of yourself. And the same principle applies to organizations as well. A lot of initiatives, a lot of projects, a lot of initiatives in the organizations have just started because somebody joins in, somebody has an exciting, somebody has a brand new exciting initiative that they have successfully delivered in the previous organization, and they want to make sure that success is replicated and all that. And a lot of initiatives have just started just in the whims and fancies of certain individuals, but they do not align with the organizational goals, priorities, and the resources available within the organization. And the likelihood, therefore, that those projects actually deliver organizational value are very, very less. Therefore, the first and foremost step, most important step is to define individual organization priorities, align them with your customer needs and expectations, right? So it is not only important to have your organization priorities defined, but also make sure that you understand what your customers need, right? So again, taking my first example of an individual, and if your priority is to complete your master's this year, your customer perhaps could be your girlfriend, your customer perhaps could be your parents, or if your children, whoever you might consider, or even your teachers, even your prospective employers. They're all your customers who need to be managed, and the requirements met, expectations met at the same time while you're trying to deliver your individual priorities, right? So if you've not aligned yourself to your customer, the likelihood that you might complete your individual priority, but the likelihood that the customer will still be there by the time you meet your individual priority is the likelihood again is very low. And that, of course, when you're talking about an organization, becomes even more important. Like, okay, I want to develop a brand new phone, and I'll take 2 years to develop it. But by then, if I have not really managed or mapped to my customer expectations of what they want from a phone, by the time I come out with it in the market, the chances that the customers are already waiting for it, or the customers are aligned to it, or perhaps the competition is not already eaten into your customers, again, is anybody's guess, right? So mapping individual and organization priorities to customer expectations is very, very, very important. And therefore, once these two are defined, and you know exactly where you want to be, both from your customer perspective and your organization perspective, then it is the time to align your projects and goals and activities and priorities within those projects to these goals, right? So on a day-to-day basis, each project manager needs to question and say, hey, I am taking up a certain new initiative within the project. Should I take it up? Will this improve, will this meet my project goals? And therefore, if it meets my project goals, is it meeting my organization? Does it meet my business goals? So, a lot of project managers again pick up initiatives like, okay, I'm going to, manage, I'm going to increase my, team motivation levels. And how do I do that? I'm going to take them out for, team outings and team parties. Well, excellent idea. But how is it going to impact your super gross profit margins of your project? Have you considered that? What are your gross profit margin goals for your project? What are your organization gross profit margin goals? So have you asked those questions? Most likely no, because most likely we don't even know what is the goal for the project in terms of profitability. Most importantly, we don't even probably know what is the current state of profitability of my project, right? I am definitely not saying that you should not take team out for team meetings, team outings. It is definitely needed. However, if your project profitability is already down at the dumps, I think the first priority that you as a project manager needs to look into is making sure that the profitability is increased. There are other ways to motivate the team, and first one of them is to share with them the current state of the project and tell them that the profitability is low, and or everybody needs to get their heads together and come up with innovative ideas of how to improve the profitability, and in the process excite the team about certain new initiatives, certain new innovations that they're going to be working on, and have reward and risk mechanisms in place so that they are excited about it. So that's another way of making sure the team is motivated. However, if you've not aligned your goals to the organizational goals, the likelihood that which way you're going to identify is anybody's guess. Again, you might go with team outing, you might go with improving profitability, and that's just based on your whims and fancies, and not really based on what the organization and the customer really want from the project. Okay, so Six Sigma philosophy actually brings in the alignment between organization, customer, and project goals, and I think that is the most important way of looking at Six Sigma. So if you're not familiar with the whole process of Six Sigma, we'll just cover that in a moment. And if you want to know, again, it's a very, very brief introduction of Six Sigma that we're covering in this presentation per se. But if you are interested in knowing more about how Six Sigma is implemented or what is Six Sigma, please feel free to drop in a note or find out more on LASIT.org. Okay, so this is when we actually teach Six Sigma, this is the most important slide that we cover, and how we actually talk about Six Sigma is it all starts and ends with your customers. So no matter how excellent you are, no matter how few defects you see in your product, if the product is not mapping to the requirements of the customer, then your product is no good. So taking an example here. Motorola was the organization which started, Six Sigma a long time back. And at that time, Six Sigma was all focused on operational efficiencies, and that's the definition, like 3.4 defects per million opportunities of defects. That is the definition of Six Sigma that came in from, those days of operational efficiencies of Six Sigma. However, as time and as the economy, as the industry, as competition has matured, and most importantly as customers have matured, Six Sigma now takes a completely new definition, and it's all about defects in the eyes of the customer and not about defects in the eyes of your process or in the eyes of your CEO, right? So if a customer says it's a defect and this is not the way the phone was supposed to operate, then it is a defect, right? And unfortunately, organizations which use the operational efficiency definition of Six Sigma failed to cope up with these new definitions of operational excellence of Six Sigma, and therefore were not able to keep pace with the changes in the economy, in the industry, and then they're no longer a part of the competition. So that is how they, it's all about customer expectations from the project. And when you're talking about Six Sigma and as project managers, we need to be most sensitive to what our customers expect and what do they want from the process. What is the outcome that they expect, what is defect in the eyes of the customer, and that is where the tools like voice of quality, critical to voice of customer, critical to quality, all those tools and techniques become very, very important. And this is in brief, the Six Sigma project life cycle. Specifically, it starts with the recognize phase, then define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So what it normally does is that, in the recognize phase, you identify the key strategic priorities of the organization and identify the Six Sigma projects that you would like to execute. In the define phase, you define those projects, the problem statement, and you, identify the critical to quality factors for the customer. In the measure phase, you measure the as state and put the measurement systems in place. In analyze, you analyze the metrics that you've captured and identify the root cause. And in the improve phase, you actually do the improvements, and in control phase, you put control systems in place and hand over the process to the process owners for taking it forward, right? So this is in like under a minute overview of Six Sigma, and I'm sure this is made you more confused about Six Sigma than giving you more information. But honestly, the goal of today's presentation was not to talk about what is Six Sigma, but making sure that project managers identify that Six Sigma tools, the philosophy of Six Sigma, if implemented, while managing our projects, can help you get a lot of significant benefits, right? And the important thing to note is that Six Sigma itself follows the project life cycle as we show here. So each Six Sigma initiative is actually a project of its own, right? So if I want to increase my customer satisfaction by, let's say, 0.5 Sigma or something like that, so that in itself is a project, and that itself needs a project manager to manage the project, right? So Six Sigma initiatives go through very, very well-defined phases, as I've just put up on the screen here, and they themselves are are independent projects that need to be executed, monitored, managed. Risks need to be monitored. Schedules need to be developed, monitored. Metrics need to be tracked. Resources need to be assigned, and so on and so forth. So it is a very well defined project on its own. However, I do not recommend all project managers to start launching Six Sigma projects within their own project. That is not what we are trying to preach here. What I'm trying to say is that, the philosophy of Six Sigma, the alignment to business goals, the alignment to customer goals, the tools and techniques of Six Sigma, that is what project managers need to remember as a philosophy of life, and that is what they need to take forward into their projects when they are doing project management, right? So how again, how we see Six Sigma actually, mapping to the entire organization. If you look at the, organization as a bigger picture, we have various departments within each organization. Within each department, we have projects. Within each project, we have multiple tasks and so on and so forth, right? So when Six Sigma applied at an organization level, it helps us to define the organization strategy. It helps to identify organizational initiatives, right? At a department level, it helps you to prioritize your initiatives. Like, so if I have 10 initiatives for the year that I need to be working on, how do I know which initiative to start first? Which initiative will give me the maximum business returns? Which initiative is the most important, initiative which is aligned to my strategic priorities of the organization, right? So it helps us to prioritize initiatives at a department level, and more importantly, it helps us to achieve operational excellence. So again, when we talk about the customer perspective of Six Sigma, it does not mean that Six Sigma no longer delivers operational excellence. Of course, that is the first parameter of Six Sigma, that it will help you optimize your processes, optimize the quality of your product so much that you will be able to achieve customer satisfaction in the end. But it all needs to be aligned with the customer and organizational goal in mind. Right, and when we talk about projects, again, as project managers, we need to continuously map the projects to the customer goals, and at the same time, constantly, measure whether we're delivering the business value, and how Six Sigma, how Six Sigma concepts become beneficial at this level is because they, each task that you're doing, it will help you to prioritize each task and say, okay, should you do this today? Should you be doing this today? Should you be doing this today? And question initiatives that are no longer required for the project, or help you point out initiatives that are definitely required for the project to make them more successful, right? And at a task level, it helps you, set up control measures in place to make sure that, your tasks are effective. They are, delivering the value that the task should be delivered. And again, prioritize the tasks that need to, that will deliver you business and customer value. Again, I think we've talked about prioritization of items, prioritization of tasks a lot in the webinar today. If you want to know how exactly Six Sigma principles help you, prioritize, there was a webinar that we did sometime back on specifically on prioritization, and you will find the recording of that available on LASIT.org. So feel free to, view the recording of the webinar if you want more information on that. So in summary, I would say Six Sigma is an organization initiative, and it builds the way of life for an organization and helps you to identify projects, how projects should be identified, which projects should be taken up, and how the project should be managed within the organization, right? So those of you who are familiar with Six Sigma will agree that this is just a sample list of the techniques, tools and techniques that are used within a Six Sigma project, right from the recognized to the control phase of the project. And for those of you who are project managers would agree with me that, oh, this sounds familiar. I've used control charts to manage my project. I've used team starters. I've used SWOT analysis, FMEA to manage my project as well. So you see, it's the same techniques that, Six Sigma also uses and project management also uses, and it's just the philosophy of Six Sigma that needs to be inbuilt, by project managers in their projects, which is mainly aligning to customer goals and organizational goals, and following a structured approach of, executing your project rather than just doing firefighting, day in and day out. Right. So benefits of managing the project in Six Sigma way, I think that's pretty clear by now. Once you've implemented the concepts of Six Sigma in the way you're managing your projects will be able to deliver direct business value, direct measurable business value, as I would have said it here. And they're also delivering direct measurable customer value that you can showcase to the customer, manage customer perceptions on it, and get positive customer feedback every time. Again, using Six Sigma principles, you're able to manage your time better, manage your teams better, and manage your risks better. So the chances that you will still land up in firefighting mode is reduced dramatically when you're using the philosophy of Six Sigma for managing your project. Right. So with that, we come to the end of this webinar, and the next webinar will be held next Thursday, that is 27th of September, and it will be the topic of the next webinar is overview of control charts. So thank you all for participating in the webinar so far, and if you have any questions, we will like to take the questions now. So is there any, I'm just going to wait for a couple of more minutes. If there's any questions, I request you to please, type them out in the chat window, and we will take the questions as they come. Okay, I think there are no questions for today. So either the presentation was extremely simple and everything is clear, or the presentation was extremely complicated and nothing is clear. But nonetheless, we look forward to your feedback and your suggestions, and keep writing into us. It's always very encouraging to get both feedback and criticism from the audience. And we look forward to hosting you same time next week or next Thursday. So till then, have a great time, and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.